there's so many different red pills that people are taking the fake red pills and trying to blend it with the real. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is from Google. Just want to point that out. In the context of men's online communities, the red pill refers to a metaphorical awakening to a perceived reality where men are systematically disadvantaged by society, particularly due to feminism, often interpreted as a belief that women hold more power than men and that men are victims of societal bias. It originates from the film The Matrix, where the protagonist chooses a red pill to see the truth about his reality, rather than a blue pill to remain in blissful ignorance.
And that's see, and that's why we have to be very aware of what language is being used. So it's saying often interpreted as, which is also a subjective statement. And what really like the red pill movement was, and I can tell you where I personally witnessed it grow was from our conversation of what you bring to the table 5 years ago, right? That's where I watched it literally like blossom. I don't know if it started before then, but that's when I know it had its real movement, you know?
Legs.
So, and it was never about women being overpowering men and emasculating men. It was all about men empowerment, actually. It was really about what are you doing as a man, right? Are you man enough to stand on your own boundaries, right? Are you man enough to say, okay, if this is how you are, can you actually, honor that way when you're actually faced with an obstacle or a challenge? So the red pill wasn't against women. It was against the bullshit, right? Especially here in America where the majority of the bullshit actually lies, And it was like, all right, bro, you need to empower yourself. You need to make sure that you have hold yourself as valuable as you hold her. It was never about the demise of one gender. What then happened is we did have extremists that got on who were anti-women in a sense because they had some type of resentment. And I can only speculate from probably how they were treated by women either currently or growing up. But when it comes down to people who are actually like, yo, bro, I want to uplift you as a man. Like, for example, Smart Guy, when he said on our pod and it went viral, you're a beautiful man, you're a beautiful man, you're a beautiful man. Like, those are red pill moments to empower the man. So that was really what it is. But then it really became that way because without one, you're always going to have the opposition of the other. So when we were trying to say, hey, listen, I'm not coming to your door. I'm HERE, right? That was a red pill movement. I got labeled the fuckboy of the year by Channel E News. But that's the fucking reality. The reality is I pull up to women that most men can't get, and I don't go to their door. The reality is I text them that I'm outside. And the reality is I have success with those women. So the red pill was really about what is the truth of what you have to do, the truth of what you could do, and then also the truth about who you are and can you stand on who you are when you're faced with obstacles. Then we had the other extremists that came in and kind of, conflated it or just, they added water to the pot. You know what I'm saying? Instead of it being pure. I wouldn't say they hijacked it. I just think that if anything, they inflated it because you can only hijack something if you can run off with it. But those men can't run off with it. You know what I'm saying? Because their bubble gets popped once it comes to the light that they are not what they speak of. And that's what the whole premise of a red pill is to be what you speak of, to be what you are. Like somebody like Andrew Tate, I'm going to assume he is who he is. You know what I'm saying? He's been faced with challenges legal from the big scale and the small scale, and he's staying true to who he is. That's really true. But then when you have people like the guy that we were speaking about earlier who was, bigging up men, but now he's seen having fellatio with men, it's like, well, that's not hijacking. That was the truth coming to the surface, and now his bubble got popped, But they're both extreme on either side, You have somebody like, I won't say his name, but somebody that we know well who copied our show, and he's extremely a blue pill. But he also doesn't have successful women, so it makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So, because this is kind of confusing, but it's kind of not. Can he have success with women, the person you're talking about, who I probably know, but I don't. I'm not going to say his name. can he have success with women in his field that makes him a red pill person to them?
Yeah. So it's really more so about. I would look at it as this. When you're talking about the red pill, this is just my own personal perspective. You know, looking at it and being. I don't associate myself with either pill, but being more so the one that aligns with that one by categories and definitions. Uh, the same way that we have women empowerment is the same way that there's men empowerment. But a lot of time when a man has man empowerment or a man is pushing men empowerment, he's labeled a narcissist, he's labeled a misogynist and all these different things when he's trying to uplift men. But the same thing when a woman does it, it's not necessarily a problem. So what happens is there's a certain type of standard that you have to hold yourself to that can seem and can be looking like you think you're above, right? The opposite gender or women specifically, if we're talking about red pill men. So I don't think that it could be the same because to be a blue pill, you're kind of looking at it from more so of the bottom up rather than looking at it from the top down.
All right, so only a man could say another man is a blue pill man. Is that what you're trying to say? To a woman, he could be a red pill dude, but only men can spot him out. Basically?
I would always say, and yes, I would always say a man can only define a man and a woman can only define a woman. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
In my
actually trying
personal
to
opinion.
figure something else out because I'm a little confused in this conversation. Why does gender matter? Because there's a lot of, men empowerment, women empowerment, and cool. But why does that matter when we're talking about the red pill, blue pill? Because honestly, men empowerment is fine if you're not talking about uplifting other men in spite of women. Like, if it has nothing to do with women at all and you just want to empower men just to do that, like, then that's great, and vice versa. But why does it feel like we're doing this gender war?
But this is what I'm gonna say. It's not about getting the girls. Alan is just looking at it from the bubble, right? But it's because that same man that we're talking about with that same example, she also told us on live of another example who is an extreme blue pill and he was never gonna get it. So both sides aren't getting women. And it's not getting women isn't about does it make you a red pill or a blue pill? Because you can get a woman being a blue pill method or ways, and you can get women having the red pill method or ways, right? It's not about that. It's really about how do you look at yourself when it comes down to the other gender.
Can I ask a question? Because I too am a bit confused, but I also can see why I might be confused. I feel like what you're saying is the red pill when the movement first started, it was X, but it has transformed into something else. So in its transformation, do you believe that people who subscribe to that particular ideology of, red pill ideology, do you think that they are more inclined to lean towards your interpretation of it, or I guess like an originalist sort of interpretation of it versus what it has been co-opted to mean?
I think that 100% yes, because to this day, I can tell you yesterday, specifically speaking, and for the last 6 years, I've been having men come up to me and they still will always be this way. Say, you say the things that we don't, right? So really what ends up happening is, and this is kind of why I'm trying to say, we get conflated and confused when we bring in the success of obtaining a woman that defines you of red pill and blue pill, and that's not the case at all. I don't think that there is an equal eye-to-eye value in either or. That's the main thing. It's either one side, men are thinking that they are the prize, they are the king, they are the ruler, the leader, and they will look down, and it has a negative connotation, obviously with the history of women and men, specifically here, or actually in the world, right? versus the blue pill tries to be more, giving grace, looking up, bigging up the women. So like there is an opposite seat that they're having, right? And obviously the one who is looking up at women or putting the woman on a pedestal, they're obviously going to be nicer. They're obviously going to be more wavering. They're going to be more, malleable to whatever the preferences or the ideologies that woman that they're dealing with may have. Versus the other one, a man could become more stern. He might be more stuck in his ways. He might be more sticking to his guns, right? So that's kind of where the difference happens. So although we have a lot of noise within the space, the men who also are still saying, yo, I wish I could say this and I want to say this, they have the outlet, and it's always been that way, which is why this has even started. It started from the simple fact that men don't speak the truth to women. Real quick, I know I'm gonna land a plane.
Yeah, that bitch is going through the turbulence right now.
Nah, yesterday I got mad at my girl, right? I got mad at my girl. And because she made dinner, I thought it was good. But Kason, our son, didn't like it. And she was like, Did you like your dinner? And like,
well, that's where she went wrong.
And then he was like he didn't want to answer it. And then she was like, let me tell you something. When a woman asks you if you like their food, you always say yes. And I hopped the fuck up out that bed. I heard it. I walked into the kitchen. I'm like, don't you ever lie to a woman when it comes to being honest about the situation. Don't do that. Right? So that's kind of like a red pill moment. Like, I'm not saying you got to kill her dreams and be a tyrant, but it's easy to say, hey, listen, I believe you had better.
But I think it's very different. Like, I think he's saying that with respect to his mother, the person that he provides for him, the person that does the nurturing, this, that, and the other, versus a woman. First of all, he's a kid, but versus a woman with whom he would be like romantically connected. There's a very big difference, because even me, who I really don't hold my tongue a lot, there's still a level of grace that I give to my parents, because they are my parents, because they are X amount of years older than me, because they lived through a different time. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand. I understand what you're saying, but I also believe that his reservation about being honest was more so just like, it's my mom. Like, she cooks every day. Like,
I don't think the problem was his reservation. I think it was her telling him to
prompting him.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, if y'all want to be real, first of all, he a fucking kid. You eat what's on your plate.
That doesn't,
or you eat you some cereal and go to bed hungry.
Yeah, but that's besides the fact, and I'm not disagreeing with that. But the thing is, and we often heard this.
Would I look like agging a beggar if they like my food or not?
But that's not the point.
I wish I would.
That's going off. But the point and the principle is, typically we've heard this.
I do.
How a man treats his mom is typically an idea of how he's going to treat his spouse, right? So if you are, as a kid, being groomed to withhold the truth, which is what we had a long time of, do I look fat in that dress? And the answer has to be no, even if it's yes, right? That's where that has stemmed from. That is what has created a lot of the shit that happens now, where men feel as if they don't have a voice or a safe place, and I hate that, to express their opinions.
Which is so ironic, because when you think about it, who runs the world? Like, why would the person who runs the world?
Beyonce said girl.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, like, just think about the irony of that.
That's what she was getting at.
Like, but like, just think about the irony. Like, we all know our societies, whether you're in New York, whether you're in Ghana, whether you're in I don't know, Mauritius in the sea somewhere. Like, we all know the who's moving the like it's men. It's a man's world, and while things are changing, let's be real, it's still a man's world, And
I think there's so
We
much
didn't
shit.
need your commentary.
I bet
sir.
y'all won't. Yeah, I just want to let me get it
I
out.
won't finish.
Yeah, right. So it's just odd to me that like, and maybe y'all can give me some perspective. Like it's just odd to me that like, if you're a part of the group that runs things, why don't you have a voice? What?
I understand.
I'm not done. I mean,
I see what you're saying.
like if you run things, like why don't you have a voice? Why don't you have a safe space? Why don't you feel that you can do and say what you want as you want and as you please? It's just the irony, And the things that I understand, like men do need a safe space. Men do need to, I think men need that space.
The thing that needs to be understood is that 95% of the red and the blue pill are failing men. When we look at it from optics, of course, the blue pill is going to be winning. Of course, it's a wave that we can see from YouTube and TikTok because there's no purpose. A lot of these people have moved to other platforms, right? There's a lot of these people have their money obviously stripped, like the rug pulled from underneath their feet. So why would they continue to do it? Why would they continue to go back on a platform that's not going to allow them to grow, not going to allow them to monetize, and this shit costs money? So yeah, of course that's what happens. Now, I would tell you, just to finish this up, all of these niggas is lame. Blue and red, right? So there's a 5% of blue that is winning and a 5% of red that is winning.
Red.
You know what I'm saying?
You know them kids that can't really say R's.
So
in the wed call.
So what I'm saying is, don't get confused by the noise.
We're not confused.
So like some of them, like I want to know what blue pill Alan is winning. What blue pill?
I got a question too.
Wait.
I have questions. Wait. And that's. I want to say something.
Actually,
blue pill is a big thing.
I didn't know that blue pill was a thing.
It's a huge thing, but that's the point I'm making.
The blue pill is supposedly the opposite, where people choose to stay in their perception of reality.
They're the pick-me's for them. Okay, great job. That's why you should sit in.
Say?
They're the pick-me. They're the men pick-me's. You know how there's women pick-me's?
Wait, so you're either one or the other. There's no like middle ground.
I'm not saying that you aren't, right, as a person or as a man or a woman.
No.
What I'm saying is that people label you one side or the other. It's like you're a Democrat, or a Republican. Yeah, because Alan keeps talking while I'm talking. So it's red or blue. You know what?
When I looked at the Google definition, the Matrix definition, I was just like, well, I don't know who wouldn't want to be a red pill. I want the harsh reality. I want to know things for what they really are.
That's why this shit is confusing to me.
Exactly.
Yes. You're different.
I don't.
But that's why I started off the conversation wanting to know how it got from this to this.
Exactly.
The point is we're confusing what is the actual essence of each side versus entertainment, right? So what happened is when we have 1,001 podcasts coming out every month, right? People need to do different extremes.
I don't think they're coming out like that.
Well, now, but you're talking about like the last 4 or 5 years. Everybody had a podcast, right? But next day they had a podcast. They had a voice and opinion in the podcast and a mic. And I don't
shut up.
One mic.
Try to figure out who sold it to them.
One mic and an iPhone.
Real talk, that's what everybody want to know. They want to know why the hell we got mics. I'm be honest.
But we started with
that's going to be a nice clip. They want to know why I got a mic.
But yeah, you had these people.
And we going to finish this shit. We started this shit and we going to finish this shit. Okay.
I got a question because I don't know. Is this like a y'all generation thing? It wasn't.
Try to exclude
No.
He's not, but I feel what he's saying.
I feel like all this is bullshit. All right, because I feel like red pill.
On the backhand side, my brother.
Oh,
Red pill.
you said wed.
Wed.
He said wed, you said plu.
You're right. I just feel like
on the wed call.
Like the way it sounds, right? From what I'm hearing, is the red pill is never expected to lose.
What do you mean?
This hear me out. I feel like
You
the
call
way
the blue
the way
pill
that like
losers.
I'm hearing what the definition is that the blue pill is just like, oh yes, darling, dear, just to be next to a woman, right? As opposed to the red pill This is how I'm hearing it. The red pill is just supposed to be super masculine, super successful, and I can get anybody, like super machismo, right? But in reality, you're still human. You are going to take losses. So the example of a man holding up, or a woman holding up her phone saying, I've got this red pill dude, and he wants to get with me, that doesn't make sense to me because A, she might not have found him attractive. B, he might have had whack game. C, he could just be whack as a person, right?
Super
So
lame.
how do you put them in a red or blue? You either that nigga or you not, and you're not always going to be that nigga 100% of the time. So saying you're part of a side is stupid because you can't win all the time. You're always going to take an L, right? And if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying the red people tell the truth,
The
right?
red people.
But the blue pill, they're telling their truth. Their truth just isn't as attractive to the people or the women that they're trying to tell it to because of the other side of men that the women actually like, which are the macho masculine, right? But then when they figure them out, they'd be like, oh, well, I thought you were this. So it's kind of like pulling a mask off. So a red pill dude is going to lose. A blue pill dude is going to lose. So like, why can't they just be people?